All right, well, how about some more excitement today? We're working on the sand Muller, and I guess you already knew that. I tell you what we're working on every time, but I guess it's in the title, so you know what we're working on. So I've got the main shaft disassembled out of here, and it's set up here in the vise. Let me bring it just down a little bit so you can see it rather than me. Give a little bit better idea what's going on. So this is the main shaft. This is the bottom of it we're looking at here. This is the collar that I'd welded on so my bearing sits here. Now I still have to come up with some sort of a shield so that I can hold a seal in the bottom of this. And I talked about that before, about how I would have designed it a little bit differently, but going off of Steve Chastain's plans, why this is what we came up with. So the big gear mounts on the bottom of this, and this is the gear that mounts on there. And this was a purchase from somebody, probably Fleabay, I don't know. May have been some online place, but I've had it sitting for quite a while. But anyway, I need a hub for the middle of it. And what I came up with is this hub right here. And this was a piece of 3-inch scrap stock, I think, that I had. Went ahead and bored the inside for 2-inch to accept it onto the shaft, and went to cut my keyway in it like I had the top on the planer, and I really don't have anything to hold this short a piece in the planer and have it be secure, so I ran into problems right off the bat. So what I've done for right now anyway, if I have to go back and either cut or broach a keyway, we will, and we can go back and cut it in the shaft if we have to at a later time. But what I ended up and did is I just drilled and tapped it all the way around. I've got 3 set screws in it, gave me clearance. It's going to mount on here just like this and that orientation, and I believe everything's proper there. I don't think I'll have to, I think the clearance is going to be right. That leaves me about 3/4 of an inch to mount a seal in here, one way or the other. And I discovered I've got to order another seal for that. I've got the seal for the top, but I don't have a seal to fit on the bottom. So I don't know if we'll come up with a casting, if I'll fabricate a part from stock, or what exactly I'll do. I'll probably design a casting to just bolt onto the bottom cap. So anyway, this is the hub itself, and this is the torch cut plate. Just a piece of 1/2-inch stock that I had, or scrap that was sitting. We're going to weld it on just like that, top and bottom. And then we'll just set it up in the mill, and I think we've got 8 holes, 3/8 holes in a, I believe it's a 6 1/4-inch bolt circle. So we'll just go ahead and set it up in the mill and run a bolt circle off the digital readout. And then it will mount on here just like that. I'll take, once I've got it welded up, I will take it back over to the lathe and I'll skim this surface so we've got a nice flat surface. Mount our gear on there. And then that will set in that orientation right there. And I'll probably turn the outside. We'll see if that wants to beat up my tooling too bad, or if we do that. From there, I think I'll go ahead and throw some paint at a few things that I've already got done and the welding's finished on, and probably go ahead and repack the bearings, just because it's starting to be rainy and nasty outside a little bit, and I've still got it sitting out there. It got rained on last night, so I'll probably go ahead and repack, or go ahead and pack the bearings in it just to give it a little more protection until I get it moved in. And all I'm doing is zeroing out the center. Now I could run a dial indicator around here, but the reality is this is not really that critical. So let's zero everything out on the digital readout and see if we can't find center with an edge finder here. Function, diameter, select axis is going to be the x-axis. So we can take it back to 0. Close enough. One, two. One, eight, 1, 2. Function, diameter center, y-axis, 906. For all intents and purposes, that's our center. So I'll just spot out a bolt center just to verify that it's right. Just spot them with a small drill, and then we'll go back and actually cut them to depth. Just like to verify before I start punching too many holes. So, and the way this works on our bolt hole circle, let's see, do you have a, yeah, you've got a view of that. Okay, so the way this works is, and I've already defined a bolt hole, but we'll go back and do it again. A function, define bolt hole, we'll put it in position 1, doesn't really matter, do an enter. Number of holes 8, we've already got it in there. Radius 3125, half of our diameter. Start at 0, end at 360, and we'll call that good. Okay, so now it diverts back. Now let's go ahead and put it in incremental mode. We're still zeroed out. Function, use bolt hole selection, we'll use 1. Enter, bolt hole number 1. Enter, our position is 3125. That's where we are in relation. So we go to a 0 there. Yeah, our quill's locked. Let's just spot that. Hit our enter again, goes to bolt hole 2, enter, gives our position. Come on, come on, come on, come on, where are you? That should be our second hole. And we just continue to go on through. There's bolt hole 3. Bolt hole 4. Wrong way. hole 7. And bolt hole 8 should be just about done here. Bolt hole done. Enter. We should have 6 1/4 bolt hole circle. Burning it should put us at 7 1/4 right on. Right on, that's perfect. Okay. And there we are, just that simple. So, brush this off here so we can take a look at it. I'll go back and just manually deburr or chamfer these holes. I thought about doing them while we were doing the bolt circle, but I don't see any sense in spending a tremendous amount of time doing it. Actually, I'll probably do it in the vise or do it here, but we'll just do it freehand. There's our sprocket. Get that out of the way. That at one time told us what it was, I'm sure. I started to set this up and turn it. I ended up and just ground the edge a little bit and smooth this down. There's no real rhyme nor reason for having it. Oh, actually, these are 7/16 holes, so we're going to have to open them up, it looks like. But for demonstration purposes and to get this set up here, let's see if they're all going to. Deburred them. I should have went ahead and ran a drill back down through them. But they're all going to go there. And like I say, it looks like we'll have to open those up to 7/16. So we'll go ahead and do that. But anyway, that's the way it's going to go together. The next thing will be to go ahead and actually fit it up onto the Muller. There's the way she looks from the back side. So that'll work. Well, I don't have enough bolts. I managed to scrounge one that's a little bit too long, but then I just got a couple other for alignment. Alignment looks real good with 7/16. So that's the way that's going to go. I've added 3 just short bolts that I'm going to use to lock the column or lock the spindle on. And if we were to rotate it up this way, this is what it looks like. And of course I can't do that because I don't know where my alignment marks are, so we'll set it up here. I had added some punch marks, so I knew what alignment was on this. If I can find them, there they are. There they are. And if we slide this one in here, like this. Should go in just about there. go. So there's a look of it from the bottom. Bolt holes look good. Everything will line up there, it looks like. Alright, I got the spindle up, got the first bearing in. Got to grease the second bearing on there like that. On there like that. Alright, well I still probably don't have that high enough. Let's see if we can't. Yeah, maybe we are. Oh, get this back up along. Okay, that's where it's going to set for the time being. Now, that's at least the next piece of the puzzle. So, I think we can see down there. Yeah, there's our spindle in the top. There's our main chain sprocket on the bottom there. Down here, that's where it rides. That's the clearance we've got. Rotation is this way. Main plow is here. Secondary plow is back here. Our pivot arm comes out here and our wheel moves this way with rotation going this way. So the next thing will be to finish up the plows. I still have to cast this piece. So, or these two little bushings. There's going to be a cast bushing. And I don't know exactly how I'm going to set it up. I think I'm probably going to mount the gearbox on the left-hand side. I think he shows it at the back. But I think we'll probably mount the gearbox on the left-hand side with the on-off switch over here. Although I may change that, I'm not sure. The on-off switch is going to go over here. Could potentially put the gearbox on this side and cover it with a shroud, but I think what I'll do is plan on setting it up with the gearbox on this side, and then I can put a shakeout bin to shake out castings on this side, and that way I can shovel, since I'm right-handed, shovel this way into the bin, have our dump off the front. And I'm not sure, I've got a couple of ideas for how I'm going to process the sand out of the chute. Originally I was going to use 5-gallon buckets. I think maybe I've got a better idea than that. So, you know, laying it out with the idea of expansion as time goes on. So I think that's the best layout. You know, if I was left-handed, I'd probably put my shakeout chute on this side and then scoop in this way. But since I'm right-handed, I think on this side it's going to be easiest to shovel from there into the Muller. So yeah, that looks pretty good. It's not going to be too long. We're going to have to get back to working on the gearbox. And that's kind of the layout for the day. So I've got other things I've got to do, but I'm pretty happy to have that taken care of. And next thing, like I say, will be plows, and then probably onto the gearbox, and it's about time to do some more casting for that stuff. So we'll have to get around. I've got to cut my bottom boards for on the big flask. I cut the original flask I had down a little bit while I was out here this morning doing a little welding on this hub. Why I went ahead and welded up some pieces on my little make-do crucible that I'm going to use because I need the capacity of it. So that's getting pretty close to being ready to use. So within the next week, probably next week, we'll be attempting to cast gearbox halves. So 2 gearbox halves, bushings for in here. I think I need at least 1 more hubcap for stuff I was counting the other day. And otherwise, we're starting to come together. So hopefully you find this a little bit interesting, entertaining, watching my comedy of errors, and comments or suggestions, leave them in the comments section for me below. And as always, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch.